Continuing on the Srimad Bhagavatam, the appearance of Narada, Canto 1, Chapter 4, and we had come till verse 22. So I'll give you a small background about verse 21 and 22, just for your understanding. Vyas comes into existence during the time of the second and the third, the beginning of the third and the end of the second yuga. And his job is to ensure that the Vedas are divided in such a manner so that everybody can understand it. So when he comes on this, when he takes a birth or when he takes this appearance over here on earth, what happens? He sees that the whole world is in a state of chaos. There is a lot of problems in this world. People are not able to cope up with things. There is a lot of disturbance is going on. And now this is at the beginning of the, remember that. And it takes many years for him so that he can compile this entire Vedas. And during the time, a very beautiful thing happens which is called the Mahabharata. So when Mahabharata happens, he has to write the story of Mahabharata as well. So the Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, and then various other scriptures come into the picture. At the end of the Mahabharata, when the kingdom passes on to the grandson, his name is Parikshit. Now Parikshit in turn has done some wrong stuff. He has gone and put a snake around the neck of a great sage, which was a sin, and naturally he was cursed. So he is told that he will be dead very soon. So he is sitting near the banks of Ganga and he is trying to understand spiritual stuff. Meanwhile, Vyasdev's son, Sukdev, is passing from there. Sukdev is invited and he has to now tell the story of what is called as the Srimad Bhagavatam, the various avatars of Sri Krishna that came on this planet Earth. So we have started this. Now when all these stories are being told, how did this begin was the question. The beginning happens when Vyasdev is on earth and he has divided these Vedas into various different segments or subsections. Now why is it divided? Simply because human beings do not have the capacity to have the entire knowledge that can be grasped at one time. We need to have a broken down system. That is, now let us say for example, science by itself is a massive thing. So it has to be broken down into physics, chemistry, biology, so on and so forth. Likewise, physics, when you take physics into account, there are so many departments of physics. Now, even in chemistry also, there will be various departments. So like that, you have to understand it is not easy for human beings to grasp the entire subject. So it has to be broken down into small bits and pieces. So what is Vyasdev doing? He is breaking down the Vedas into various segments and subsegments and different portions. And these are then passed on to different heads of that department. Now, whoever is in charge has to handle that particular scripture. So here he has given one particular scripture, which is the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda has been passed on to Paila Muni. So there is a Paila Rishi. He is now in charge of this particular Rig Veda. Then Jaimini was given the Sam Veda. Vaishampayana was given the Yajur Veda. So every different Rishis, that is, these are called the heads of that particular department. They handle these knowledge base. Like that, Sumanta Muni Angira, who was devotedly interested, was given the Atharva Veda. So Sumanta was given the Atharva Veda. And Romaharshana was entrusted with the Puranas. So there are Puranas. What are Puranas? Puranas are nothing but stories. These stories are coming in the form of different scriptures. Now what we are doing today is called the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is one of the compilations. These are nothing but what we call as the stories of the Lord's various births. So when Mahavishu takes so many forms, their stories have to be written. And these are then passed on to Roma Harshana. Now Roma Harshana in turn has to then give it to his set of disciples. See, understand one thing. If you are a PhD student in a particular university, what happens? You have to always be an assistant to some person who is running that department. So whoever runs that department, you have to assist him. And then you have to write your thesis and you have to write your stuff. You have to do your experimentation, whatever that needs to be done. And you have to create your own set of scriptures, isn't it? Books. That is knowledge. So what happens to you? You will then compile it in such a manner so that people can understand, and then you will release those papers, okay, after they are tested out. So you will find that there are various laboratories in this world where these kind of things are happening today. People come, most of the students who are there, the PhD students, they will go over there, they will take these lessons, and then they will compile whatever that they have learnt. Okay, whatever their inferences are, those inferences are put in the form of, papers. Here you will find exactly how this is done. So in the olden times, you will find that the Rishis normally would be married to someone, but they were not involved in any kind of a physical activity with their spouses. It is understood like that. We should not delve into this subject more. So what happens is, they had a set of students who attended their Gurukul. So they had a Gurukul system. Now in the Gurukul, if you are there under certain Rishi Muni, then you are going to get trained in that subject, whatever the subject is. And that is the reason why this knowledge can then be transmitted from the Guru to the Shishya, from that Shishya who then becomes a Guru, passed on to some other person, and it goes on. The knowledge continues its trajectory. I hope you get this. So now let us start with verse 23. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, verse 23. All these learned scholars in their turn rendered their entrusted Vedas unto their many disciples, grand disciples and great grand disciples, and thus the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being. So here he is giving a very clear explanation. He says, these Rishi Munis, whoever they are, whether it is Paila Muni or whoever. Now what they did was, they had a set of disciples. These disciples used to attend their Gurukul. Now in the Gurukul, the entire Vedas were handed over to them, whatever that particular Rishi Muni is known for, and these things were then transmitted. Now there the system was, they did not have a system of writing, please remember this. So it was not written. What was done was, it was in the form of a poem, a poetry. All right. It is very easy to remember songs, isn't it? It's very difficult to remember prose. But it is easy to remember songs, poetry and that kind of a thing. Like if you see, Jack and Jill went up the hill, like that. Poetry is taught to children. Long sentences and all that, that is a little bit difficult. So these poetries were given, all these Vedas were in that particular format. They were passed on to their disciples, and then these disciples then passed it on to their subset of disciples, and that is the reason why it is said like that. Now remember one thing, if you are from a particular Gurukul, today the Gurukul system is not there in existence. Very, very few Gurukuls are there. And there are no great sages like the ancient times. Very few people are there who can handle a Gurukul system. So now, whoever is the sage, whoever is the disciple becomes like his son. Got it? Huh? and he calls them by the name, children. All right. So that the guru is the mother or the father, whatever. He calls himself the father maybe. And these are all his children. It doesn't mean that they are born to him. Please remember this. Okay. Nobody is born to these gurus. They become their guru putra. Guru putra. You know, it's a great thing to be a guru putra or a guru putri. In today's day and age, we are trying to establish a gurukul system where there are women and men both, because the knowledge can be equally divided amongst everybody. And this is a knowledge from the past. All right? And this is a very, very ancient knowledge, but it has got relevance even today. Okay? It is not archaic. It is not something that, oh, he is talking about some, dinosaurs. No dinosaurs over here. We are talking of modern technology, modern stuff, which can be interpreted in the modern context. So whoever are these Guru Putra, they gave it to their Putras. That means they had their disciples. Then those disciples had their disciples. And likewise, this entire lineage got created. I hope this is very clear to you all. All right. So let us now move to the next verse. So we are doing verse 24 from Canto 1, Chapter 4, Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus the great sage Vyasdev, who was very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so that they might be assimilated by less intellectual men. Now this is something which we have to accept. The knowledge is less amongst today's people. We really don't have much understanding of many subjects. You will find that everybody is specialized in a field. So if you are specialized in one field, your knowledge about another field is going to be minimal. Is because your brain structure and the way your intellect works is not attuned to it. See, attunement goes away simply because there is a scientific reason also. You will find that in this way, the younger generation has the grasping capacity, but the older generation doesn't have. So the younger children can grasp more. The slightly older people are not able to. After the satsang, I will give you an understanding of this subject. Just remind me about it. All right, how this works and why these reasons are there, I will give you the understanding. So now let us continue with the subject. So Vyasdev understood that everybody is ignorant in this world. See, even you may be a PhD, you may be a great doctor, you may be a great engineer, a scientist or whatever. At the end of the day, your knowledge is material worldly. It has no significance in the spiritual domain. Spiritual knowledge is a perfect knowledge. You have knowledge about the body and the things around you. But you are not the body. You are just taken up a role. Remember, Vyas Muni has also taken up a role. Right? That role is what is important. And anybody who takes up a role has to perform as per the script. So there is a script for that role. So the person has to act for that script only. And in this manner, the script is written and you have to be truthful to the script. So your script is in the material world. Some people are fathers, mothers, children, whatever your role is, your employees, employers. You may be government servants or whatever. You are doing a role. It doesn't mean that is who you are. And that is why your knowledge is so minimal. You may say, I work for big companies, I earn so much of money, this, that, so many things. You can give me, you can show me an entire set of degrees also. You may have fantastic degrees. But your knowledge is minimal. What is that knowledge going to be of any use to you once you die? Tell me. Is zero knowledge. Correct? So before you were born, what knowledge was that over there with you? Nothing. After you die, what is the point? So rebirth. Okay, you will have a rebirth. Again, you might be born. So this knowledge which will take you to an understanding, and you will not have rebirths. That is the true knowledge. You have to do what is called as spiritual discrimination. Anyway, that's another subject. So everybody was ignorant. So what did he do? He had to break down the Vedas into small, small bits. Okay? And then all that was assimilated, put together in a very nice format and given. Now let us say your body. You have a body, correct? Your body is called the Veda. What is it called? Veda. Alright? Now let us say the biggest of the Vedas. The biggest of the Vedas is called Rig Veda. It is here on top. Okay? Then the other Vedas are down below. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Tell me something. If you have to be dissected, broken down, dissected, your body is such a massive world by itself. Agreed? Your body is an entire world by itself. The person who is a brain surgeon or a neurologist or a neurosurgeon or whatever is not the same as the heart surgeon. Agreed or no? Is not the same as the one who is looking after your intestines and stomach and all that. Correct? Somebody is looking after your gonads or your sexual organs is not the same as one who is looking after your brain. Agreed? Somebody who is looking after other portions of the body are different. Would you agree with me? Can I tell an ophthalmologist or an eye surgeon to look into my heart? That fellow will have very little understanding of the subject. He says, I can't see an eye over there. See, the problem is that. So you will find that the heart surgeon is different. Your eye surgeon is different. The doctor who is connected to different subject is different. Now there is one person who is called a general physician also. Is there a general physician also? Do you think general physicians have knowledge of everything? No. They have superficial knowledge of everything, little. He is like a jack of all trades. Isn't it? It's a jack of all trades, master of none. So he can just take care of your pulse and this and that. He can tell you do this test, do that test, do your blood test, do your MRIs, this one, that one. But if there is a question of removing a cancer from your intestine, will he tell you, I will do it? He can't do it. If you are a woman, he will look at you and say, okay, this is a problem. But if you have a woman's problem, then he will say, no, you have to go to a gynec. Isn't that what the person will say or no? So we have specializations. So exactly you will understand your whole body cannot be understood by one person. Different people are required to understand different parts of the body. And this is what you got to understand. Alright? Next. Out of compassion, that is verse number 25. Out of compassion, the great sage thought it wise that this would enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus he compiled the great historical narration called the Mahabharata for women, laborers and friends of the twice born. I hope you understand. The Mahabharata is for women and every other person. Is it written it is meant for men? Understand why this is written. All the men in the world in India think that Mahabharata is their property. Why? Because the men are fighting over there. You got the point or no? All these guys are fighting over there and they are fighting over with each other. Alright? So there are Kauravas and there are Pandavas, and the Pandavas and the Kauravas are having a great fight, and there's a Kurukshetra war is going on and they are fighting with each other. And believe me, this is written in the Bhagavad Gita that the women, laborers, means basically those who are working for others. How many people are working for themselves? Zero. In my group, at least zero. Nobody is working for themselves. We are all laborers for other people. You see, we are laborers of our wives, our children, our family members, and our bosses in the company, and we are literally labor class only. So the labor class is called the Shudra class. So all of us are coming in the same category. Anybody who works for somebody else is a labor class. So don't be under the impression that I am some great sheikh in some company and I may be this manager, that manager. Nobody gives a damn to you. You are as good as a labor class. You see, you are the one who is working on the road, putting maybe tar and this and that, okay? Or maybe you are digging a hole in your garden. That's what you are. So don't be under the impression that this is meant for some great sheikhs people. No. There are no such type of people existing. Everybody is a labor class. Okay? And friends of the twice born. Who is the twice born? The gurus. Okay, the Brahmanas kind of. They are the ones who know the scriptures. They have friends. Friends means not friends. They are people who are acquainted with them. So if you are the disciple of the guru, then it's meant for you only. Okay. So you have to understand the Mahabharata got written for these three class of people. And this is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Which are the three class of people? Thus he compiled the great historical narration. It's a narration. He is narrating the story. This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. That's what he is narrating. And it is called the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is clearly meant for women, laborers and friends of the twice born. Okay. Now, who are the people who are actually studying the Mahabharata? The men and the leaders of this world think that I should study the Mahabharata. For what reason? So that I can become a great king, I can become a great person in this world. No. It is for all these people, they have to become great. This is the fourth yuga, please don't forget it. This is a yuga when all the women have to go up, all the laborers have to go up, all these people who are servant material have to become now leader material. Got it or no? All the servants have to now rule the world. That is why we have unions all over the place, isn't it? We have union leaders. Why? They can handle it. And in the world today, what women are doing? Have you seen Tulsi Gabbard? She has become a very big person today. You should admire her because she is going to take a lead somewhere. Like that. Like that, there are lots of people in this category. So, he thought it. Who? Out of compassion. See, please understand, the great gurus and the masters, they teach out of compassion only. But go to any of these great, PhDs and all these great Nobel Prize winners and you tell them, can you teach me what you have learned? They will talk like this. First and foremost, they won't give you an appointment. I still remember this body's daughter writing to so many people in different parts of the world. Somebody in England, somebody in, this university, that university. I want to assist you. You are a great person, blah, blah, blah. She has written that to so many economists in the world because her subject was economy. Okay. Nobody wrote back. And then when she went, she met this person in one, get together, whatever they call it. I don't know in university what happens. I have not gone to any university, so poor person, me, I am not educated. So there she met this person and there she was able to talk to this person and give her idea. And he said, okay, fine, you can assist me. And that is how she became his assistant. And then later on, she is now assisting somebody else and then somebody else. So these great sheikhs, they don't feel like, helping poor people. All the highly educated sort of people don't want to actually give their knowledge to somebody else. What they don't understand is when they give knowledge to somebody else, their knowledge doesn't become less. It becomes more. Okay, in this I will tell you one story of a person. This person is very smart. Extremely smart person in the world. He is handling the department of DOGE, doggy. Okay. Now his name is Elon Musk. Okay. Now what did he do when he was the head of Tesla? He is the head of Tesla. You know that, no? You know what he did was, he told that whatever the patents that we have, all the patents that we have, everything which Tesla owns, we will give it to any company who says, we want the patent, I will give it to them free. Now tell me, you have worked for big organizations. Does your company give your patents free? Nobody wants to give the patents free. This smart person, he said, I will give all the patents free to anybody who comes and asks me. And then he collaborated with a very big company called BMW. And he handed over all the patents to BMW. Alright? He handed over the entire patents to BMW, and he set up a plant which is called the Giga plant, you know, that big manufacturing unit, the Giga manufacturing unit. And all these companies whom he had given the patents, they needed the batteries. They tried to manufacture these batteries at a very low cost. BMW tried it. The battery cost was coming out to more than $250. They couldn't match the price of Elon Musk company, 150 plus. $100 less per battery. Finally, all these people have to buy battery from him. Everything that he's written, given them free, he's getting billions because of that. Understand this. When you spread your knowledge to the world, it comes back to you multifold. So don't try to hoard your knowledge. Knowledge is for distribution. Knowledge is to be given to people. Don't think I have a patent on it. You know I filed patents. Today the whole world is enjoying those patents. I never got my patent certificate also. But is it not important that the world has to get that knowledge? And I am very generous in it. That is what he says. Out of compassion, you should give the knowledge to everybody. It is important so that everybody reaches their goal and destination. And don't try to hoard the knowledge. It's not going to help you. Tomorrow, if you hoard the knowledge, you are going to be dead very soon. Correct? What use is that knowledge? It was lying in some vault somewhere. You will be dead. You may have a very big diamond in your cupboard, in your tijori, okay, in your safe. You have never worn it in your life. What is the use of the diamond over there? Please remember this. You may be having a Ferrari. You are keeping it in your garage. You have never taken it out also, even for one day. What is the use of the Ferrari? Exactly like that. If you have the knowledge, pass it on to the world. It is going to be of use, and you will benefit in your future lifetimes also. This you don't understand. So kindly pass on the knowledge. Don't bother your head about keeping it to yourself. Give it up, give it up, give it up. So, the ultimate goal of life can be achieved with this knowledge. This is what Vyas Muni thought. And Vyas Muni said, I will then pass on this knowledge to people, because they are not understanding anything. And then he created the Mahabharata, which he passed on to every other person. Everybody. It's a general compartment. General category. SC, ST, this one, that one, everything included. Alright? O twice born Brahmin, that is verse 26, O twice born Brahmanas, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all the people. Who is this person? We are talking about Vyas Muni. Vyas Muni, he gave the knowledge to everybody, but he was very upset. He says, I have so much of knowledge, and I don't know how to give it more to people. I have given only this much and this much and this much and this much. Many years ago also, I wanted to do the Bhagavad Gita, then I wanted to do the Uddhav Gita, then I want to do this Gita, then I want to do that Gita. I have been doing all this, then I did the Srimad Bhagavatam also. How many books have I done? Very. and I still feel inadequate, and I feel I want to do more books, I want to do more books. I have little time left, but I have to do more. Exactly what he felt. So what he said to himself, see, in my mind, in the mind of Vyasdev, he was not satisfied. Although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of the people, when you work for the welfare of the people, if you are working for your own family, you are such a self-centered person. You work for one person, it is good enough. But if you work for 10 people, it's better. If you work for 100, it is still better. Then you work for the whole world. In this manner, you will find that those who are doing good to the world are better than any of you put together. So why not do something for the world? It should be our duty to help everybody around. See, you need this much amount of money to earn, okay, for yourself. After that, what? Then you give it to others, no? It is not necessary that you have to keep it to yourself. Well, how much are you going to eat, by the way? You see, if you hoard something for yourself, how much are you going to eat? How much are you going to keep it aside? It's of no use, believe me. There is something which will happen along the way, and the entire thing which you think is there with you will disappear. Please remember this. This is how the world is. So he thought to himself, why should I not give it to others? And what is it that I can do more than this? Thus the sage, that is Vyasdev, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect, because he knew the essence of religion, and he said to himself within. And that is the reason why he started thinking to himself, what can I do? 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 So verse 28-29, I have, under very strict disciplinary vows, unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual master, and the altar of sacrifice. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplining succession through the explanation of the Mahabharata, by which every woman, Shudra and others can see the path of religion. So he thinks to himself, he says, I have been under very strict vows. When you become a sage or a saint, or when you are under a master, understand one thing, when your master is there, you are under very tight schedules, and everything is in a disciplinic manner. You have to do a disciplinic approach. See, when people call me out of turn, I personally don't like to take their calls. I will refuse to take a call if the call is not scheduled. Unless and until you are dying or something is happening, the whole world is coming to an end, you give me a call, I will accept it. But there are certain rules and regulations which a master is keeping. He says you have to call me at this hour, fix up a call and then call me. He gives instructions. If you really want to grow in your world, you have to follow a very disciplined life, which the master gives you. This is how you got to do it. So when you are under this very strict disciplinary vows, you can't do this and you can't do that. See, there is a person over here, one day he will call me, hi, how are you? Hey. All different kinds of words the person will use. Sir, I am not a sir. Don't call me sir. There is a name, and that name is there. Call that exactly. Yo, how are you? Good morning. No. Disciplinary vows. Everything has to be very disciplined. Unpretentiously worship the Vedas. There is a Vedic way of worshipping and doing things in this world. And they are very strictly followed. You have to follow them in a very strict manner. Please understand one thing. If you join the army or any defense services, can you behave the way you want? Do you think you are allowed to take an off, go roaming here and there, dress whichever way, grow your hairs, and not even bother about people? Are you supposed to do that? If the army is so strict about your way of life, do you think the guru is lesser than the general or even the admiral or whoever it is? The guru is far greater than anybody else in this world. Even the presidents and the prime ministers and even God. He has set the rules, and those rules have to be followed very strictly. And he says, do this. He just asks you. His way of talking is going to be, can you do this for me? He's actually not asking you. He's not requesting, he's not saying please to you. It is your duty to do that job. Do you want your spiritual growth to happen? In the army also, the person will say, polish your shoes. He is not saying that please polish your shoes. He is saying you have to polish your shoes. Otherwise you are out of the army. Isn't that how it is? So if your guru says, do this, it is important you have to understand it has to be done. Because he is a greater tyrant than all those generals of this world. Okay? Because your life end is with him, not with anybody else. You want a rebirth? You want a birth as a goat? Not the greatest of all times. A goat, a real goat, a sheep, a donkey. Then try to misbehave the way you want. If he says come for an 8 o'clock appointment, don't go over there at 8:30. And don't say sorry. Sorry doesn't work with your guru. You please understand this. Your sorries have no value where the guru is concerned. He is given instructions. Clean the vessels. Your job is to clean the vessels. Yeah. If he says come down at 7 o'clock, you better be there at that time. You cannot say, oh, I slept very late. Last night I had a headache. I got periods. I got these. You can't say any of those things. If your child was dying today, will you say all these reasons? No. You will immediately take the child and take him to the hospital. But whereas the guru is concerned, you can't take liberties like this. Please remember this. So, Vyasdev is saying, the spiritual master is the altar of sacrifices. The altar of sacrifice is the Vyaspitam, we call it. Vyaspitam, a place where all these sacrifices are performed. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplinic succession. All the disciples have to follow a particular way of succession. Till you do not become perfect, the guru is not going to give you the charge. You have to become perfect. You have to be the best epitome of whatever that you are supposed to do in this world. In the last 2 sessions, I made it very clear. you have to form a part of a team. Hardly anybody responded. If you think this is some ordinary school or something like that, then you will not respond. But the day you understand that your life is at stake, not only your life, the future of this world is at stake, then you will be very serious about it. So please remember this. So here, Vyasdev is telling this very clearly. The Mahabharata explanation has been given. Don't go on all these platforms and try to see what is Mahabharata saying. Oh, Krishna looks so cute, you know. What Krishna looks cute? You don't know Krishna. Krishna is not cute. He's a very dangerous person. Because he runs this whole universe. And he knows what he's doing. Sometimes he has to act with kid gloves, you see. The whole point is that. So, Mahabharata was given. And Mahabharata's finer nuances are not understood by anybody. So if you watch a B.R. Chopra or any of those Mahabharata serials, you are not going to get any knowledge out of it. That's the stupidest knowledge which they are giving you. It's a baser level knowledge. A guru or a master is who gives you the most advanced knowledge because it is meant for your liberation. Alright? So that you can see the path of religion. Path of religion means dharma. This dharma cannot be explained by an ordinary person. The Swadharma cannot be explained by all those people who are on Twitter or LinkedIn and in this and that. Oh, you have to become some great sheikh in this world. They can't explain to you. Neither all these great idiots on this planet Earth who want to dish out all kinds of things. They are not great enough to tell you what your Swadharma is. So don't try to follow a Swadharma. This is my Swadharma. No. Your Swadharma is different. Only a Guru knows best. So this is something which you have to understand. So here Vyas Muni is thinking on these lines. And when he is thinking on those lines, what does he do? I am feeling incomplete, though I myself am fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and the infallible Lord. So, even if you know all the arts of this world, even if you know all the stories of this world, even if you think that you have done something in your life, you have gone and studied the Vedas and this and that and all those things, they are of zero significance and zero value. Vyasdev himself is realizing that. He says, oh my God, I have not done what is the most important thing in the world to do. And that is, the devotional path is not explained by me. And the Lord is the master of everything. The divine consciousness, the Supreme Lord is the master of everything in this world. And how do I love him? How do I become his devotee? That is something which I have not done. As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna Dvayapana Vyas in the banks of Saraswati, just as Vyasdev was regretting his defects. At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Sri Vyasdev got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving his veneration equal to given to Brahmaji the creator. So what happens at that moment in time? When he is thinking about this, a very, very important persona comes over there. This is the son of Brahmadev. Now Brahmaji's son, who is called Narada, he is the proponent of one of the greatest things in the world, and that is called the devotional path. Nobody else in this world can explain devotional path to you better than Narada. There is no God, there is no human beings on planet Earth who can actually explain the devotional path to you. I have done the Narad Bhakti Sutra many times. The Narad Bhakti Sutra is the essence of devotional path. And when Vyasdev is thinking that I have forgotten and not done this, at that moment in time, the Divine Lord sends the proponent of this greatest art to Vyasdev and says, here is the person, you can meet him, and now you can start your greatest of the stories, which is called the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Narada has come in front of Vyasdev. Where is he? He is sitting near Saraswati river. These are important marks which we need to understand. So we have come to the end of this chapter, chapter 4. So we will stop over here.
Recording stopped.